Let's freaking go. We're going to have a fun live stream tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, the poll question right off the jump here, do you believe TYRANN Mathieu will sign with the Saints? Obviously, we're also going to talk about, the main topic right now, which is just LSU spring practice continuing. And I'm getting a lot of questions about, well, where's Jaquelin Roy? Where is this player or that player? Why isn't Micah Baskerville playing more? You get so many of these during spring football. Some of them are injury related. Some of them could be academic related. Some of them could just be a player that needs to work their way back up the depth chart. Sometimes players are just flat out overhyped. And honestly, and this is just a harsh reality of the game of football, there are more players out there that are more replaceable than you probably think they are, right? That's the scary thing about football is when you look at, let's say, Las Vegas. In the NFL, only quarterbacks really move a point spread outside of a select few individual talents. So it's a scary thing about football is that it is the ultimate team game where outside of the quarterback position, a lot of players are replaceable, right? Now, there are some huge losses that happen, but as far as spring football is concerned, I wouldn't worry too much about any player missing any certain practice, right? Let's take Micah Baskerville, a player that I have been asked a lot about recently. Why isn't he running with the ones? Why is he so far down the depth chart? Well, this is a guy who missed all of last spring as well, not because of an injury. He just didn't participate in spring football uh, based on academic reasons. So, don't freak out too much if a player is missing spring football this early in the process. That's not to say spring football is not important. It's better to actually practice than it is to not practice. It's just not the be all end all. As we say hi to Jared, who has been skipping out. What's up, Mick? Sheesh. Marcus is the only one that likes. Boom, I'm looking at you right now. Huh? Only if you watch my videos, you get that reference. Skipper says he's watching on the phone. Aaron says he's at the box with the wifey tonight. Aaron, you're a part of every single live stream. Don't worry about me. Just enjoy the baseball game, my friend. Just be here on Thursday. There he is. Once again, let's go. Yeah, Aaron. You can always catch me later. Enjoy the game. Right? I don't even know what the score is. I did watch the first inning. I did see one of our players hit a home run. So that's good, I guess. No, it is good. It's not an I guess kind of thing. So obviously, Pressy Collection and PressyCollection.com is the power behind our spring football coverage. I wasn't even smooth either. Presley's going to drop me like today. Presley Collection and PressyCollection.com. Anthony Starr Presley is a PHLer just like you. He's been a fan of the channel for quite some time, and he has decided to partner with us with some name, image, and likeness initiatives. We just had Jack Besh on the channel. We're looking to get more current LSU student athletes on the channel as well. Hopefully we get Jack back on pretty soon. And I've gotten to know Jack thanks to Anthony Starr Presley. So, and you guys have gotten to know Jack via this channel as well during our conversation with them roughly 8 days ago. So shout out to Starr Presley, PressyCollection.com, where you can learn more about the diamonds, baby. The diamonds price match guarantee. You absolutely know it with Anthony Starr Presley. So we say hi to Tony. Tony's doing something pretty special tonight. Aaron's been skipping out on me. He's getting Jaden. We'll work on that. How about that? I'd love to get Jaden on here. I'd love to get Miles. I'd love to get anyone. Any current player that wants to be a part of our name, image, and likeness initiative, feel free to hit me up. I do know there are players that excuse me, watch the channel. I know their parents do as well, which is pretty interesting. I honestly, and this doesn't really shock me too much the more I think about it, but there are probably more players' parents that watch this channel than actual parents. So I'd be pretty excited to get a player's parent on the channel as well. What is it like to be a player's parent? It's obviously a very nerve-wracking thing, especially when Saturdays come around. As always, if you want to get to your topic, if there is an LSU topic that you want to get to right now, the best way to help this channel grow is just by a simple Venmo or Cash App. We go straight to your topic. Or if you super chat, all you got to do is hit that little dollar button. And guess what? Your name will flash up on the screen with your donation, and we go immediately to your topics. So there you have it. I love this. Apparently, a lot of you listen while we work out, which is obviously very freaking cool. So that's very cool. We've seen Jacoby and Guillory flash in here, and his dad as well. So yeah, I won't go any deeper over which players actually do comment. I've had one get really mad at me before, but it was over something another YouTube channel actually said, and it was kind of strange. The Master Blaster, what's going on? Still kind of mad because Tony would not admit if me or Jeremy Hill does a better Master Blaster, which is kind of crazy, right? Jay Hill has like all these career accomplishments. Dude played with freaking Tom Brady. And all I wanted to do was be the Master Blaster champion. And we did a poll. And it was 50% Jeremy Hill, 50% me. Tony got to have the deciding vote, and he still would not vote for me. He said, I actually like both of them. I will have to admit, Jay Hill does do a good Master Blaster, but next time Jay Hill's on the channel, we'll actually talk about that, right? But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Whoop, whoop. Was good, Tony. So, let's see here. Adam, what's good? Thanks for all your help. You see Tony with the, once again, very political. LOL. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. It's okay, Aaron. Tony, I think you can give me just this one title. I also want to know which jersey you guys want to see up here next week. We've had Chris Carter up for a week. We had it up there because Jack Besh wore number 80 as well, and it's purple and gold. So, a Bree Carter. Chris. Even though it is, he spelled it wrong. Chris is one of those CRIS, which is weird. I've only seen two people spell Chris CRIS, and they're both NFL wide receivers. Chris Carter and Chris Collinsworth. Leonard Fournette's jersey. I actually do have Fournette's jersey, Jaguars jersey, right over here. Danny's in the hizzy. So yeah, I guess keep me updated on the baseball score. I know a lot of you have baseball. Some of you are at the game watching this live stream, Aaron. So that's really cool. That's really cool. So obviously, the first topic I'll talk about here is TYRANN Mathieu, right? It's the main title. It's kind of the strange scenario where I have analytics. I'm able to look at the analytics to see what videos actually do well. And I promise you, I could pull up the analytics right now. My worst performing videos are when I actually talk about LSU Tigers in the NFL. It blows my mind, but it's just the truth. People just don't like it, but it's weird because this TYRANN Mathieu story is just so big, right? How badly he wants to be a New Orleans Saint. You have Saints players tweeting out that they want New Orleans to sign the Saints. You have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You have all these people saying we want TYRANN to be a Saint. And he goes to visit the Saints facilities, and he walks around, and he's getting to know Mickey Loomis and everyone there, and you get this feeling that Tyrann Mathieu really wants to be there. Okay, now what does this mean for the Saints? Well, the biggest thing is price. What does Tyrann Mathieu actually want? Will he give the Saints a little bit of a hometown discount so he can play in his home city, right? Because the Saints have a little bit of leverage here, knowing that Tyrann Mathieu would really like to go to the Saints. And Aaron, Nola Grizz here says, yes, I want to see Tyrann Mathieu actually sign with the Saints. And I'm happy you did get your swag pack. I got to shout out Nola Grizz. He not only got himself a shirt, he also got his wife a shirt as well. And every time Nola Grizz jumps on the channel, he's dropping a $10 super chat. I really do appreciate it so much. Bills have been kicking my butt lately. It's the off season where things get really dry, but lucky enough, spring football is here and things get to kick itself up. Now, here's what we'll do tonight, okay? In honor of Tyrann Mathieu being the absolute biggest story, I will include a Tyrann Mathieu card with every single t-shirt purchase tonight. Also, you will get your pick of which LSU legend you want to be a part of your order. And I'm only doing autograph cards tonight. So we do have a Grant Delpit Cracked Ice rookie card. This is numbered out of 18 right here. So you get the 718. The next person that gets a t-shirt, you get your choice of this Grant Delpit autograph card, or DJ Chark. So number sevens for the next t-shirt purchases. Gotta love it. Who doesn't want a Grant Delpit Thorpe Award winner as well to go along with Tyrann Mathieu, even though he didn't win the Thorpe? Still, you get the drift. So join the t-shirt club. Nola Grizz got a bunch of swag. You can too. Now, here's the thing about Tyrann Mathieu. He is a 30-year-old safety. Do you know that the oldest safety in the NFL last year was 32 years of age, right? So that means that safeties don't last that long in the league, right? Do you really want to give Tyrann Mathieu so much money at this age? That's what NFL teams are asking. But the thing is Tyrann Mathieu is not just a player. He is a leader, right? He's not just the Badger. He's not just a playmaker. He's not just a member of the NFL All-Decades team. He also does things like this.
It was really always important for me to try my best to separate myself. In order for us to be the best of us, we need to surround ourselves around people that's going to take us there. So when I say that, I mean, how are we going to come together? Because that's the only way we're going to get to our next level. So every time I walk through those walls, and I'm going to work with Odell, and I'm going to work with Jarvis Landry, the only way I'm going to get them, the only way we're going to get to our next level is if I push him to his. And that's why we really play on Sundays now, because of what we did when we was in this room. But when you talk about being honest with yourself and being real and being a champion of life, come on, man, that's what it's about. I could care less about what I've accomplished on the football field. It don't really move me no more. When I was young, it moved me. I wanted to have a lot of followers. I wanted all the things I got now. But that don't move me no more. What moved me is seeing the next dude do what he's supposed to do, be who he's supposed to be. Because for a long time, I wasn't who I was supposed to be.
So there you go. That's what you get with Tyrann Mathieu. You get a leader, right? It's a little bit of the metaphysical. It's a little bit of the subjective stuff that you get with Tyrann Mathieu. He is a special, special human being. So once again, if you're the Saints, it's pretty special. So Adam, it is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. T-shirts are $40, but we do include a lot of swagoo stuff in there. So there you go. Venmo, Cash App, or Adam, if you want to email me, powerhourlsu@gmail.com. There you go, Adam. Shoot me an email and I'll get you straightened out. So Adam, thank you so much for showing interest in shirts. If you have any questions, Adam, just shoot me an email. So there you go. What's up, Tyler? What's up, Nola Grizz? And look, I obviously it would be cool to have a TYRANN Mathieu Saints uniform, right? Do I think it's going to happen? I do. I do. I really do. I really do think this TYRANN Mathieu thing is going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know what the money is going to look like, but we'll see when that actually gets there. I'm just hoping it happens, right? I'm a TYRANN Mathieu card collector. I would love to get some TYRANN Mathieu cards and Saints uniforms. So there you go. So as far as that story is concerned, it really wasn't anything else other than just a visit. So there you go. Everyone's waiting for Tyler's trivia question tonight. We'll wait for that a little bit later. Mick and Reed are fighting over Danny's heart. Nothing new. Dang, Danny. And Danny just is now attacking Tyler's heart. Don't do that, Danny. We can't have this happen. Mickey Loomis hates LSU players. Then what about Quan Alexander, Will Clapp, Devery Henderson? Ahmad, what's good? There you go. Now, as far as spring practice is concerned, I'll share a few things. So obviously, we're doing basically a spring practice video every weekday, right? If I feel I could make a video out of a few clips, I'm going to do it, right? And I don't just want to bore you with like terminology and drills and all that. So I try to do my best breakdowns of what actually translates to games, what a lineup can actually look like for LSU next year. And I do feel one of the most important things to keep in mind is LSU football is still in a state of flux, right? So let's just say one of you out there believes Jaden Daniels will be the starting quarterback next year. Well, the truth is, this is a guy who just moved in. This is a guy who's just getting used to Louisiana culture and traffic in Baton Rouge and all the different things that come along with being an LSU quarterback, right? Whereas Miles Brennan and Jaden Daniels, or Miles Brennan and Garrett Nussmeier, and even Walker Howard to a certain degree, have a little bit more of a lay of the land, right? So understand that we're still very early. This is a pretty unprecedented situation where, you have a transfer portal quarterback, of this caliber. And you do look at someone like Jaden Daniels, who has so much experience, playing experience. And look, he's just not going to be as sharp as the other quarterbacks early on, which makes a lot of sense. I think at this point, though, if Brian Kelly had to choose a starting quarterback, he would be rolling Miles Brennan out there right now. So that's just how I feel about where the quarterback battle certainly is. I could even see Garrett Nussmeier getting the nod over Jaden Daniels at this point, just because of the unfamiliarity that Jaden Daniels has with the other LSU players on the team. That's why I feel as if the spring game this year is going to be a little bit more important, because that does give Jaden Daniels about a month to really get to know his fellow LSU teammates, right? Especially considering there are so many wide receivers that have been in and out of practice. Malik is just now getting back to practice. Dre Jenkins was slowly worked along here these first couple of weeks of practice. So we'll see. I also think it's so different now with Jaden Daniels. Yes, Arizona State has football coverage, but there might be an Arizona State version of me and other LSU YouTube channels. There's just not as much, right? it's a whole different ball game. It really is. So I think right now Miles would be that guy. And I also think LSU can be a 9 or 10 win team with Miles Brennan as your quarterback. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Something came up about Jaden Daniels that I don't like. He is really distant from the other players. That is concerning. I know he had a lot of drama where he came from, but this team needs strong unity. Yeah, so here's my first thing about this. Jaden Daniels at Arizona State was a little bit distant, right? That was a criticism, and not necessarily a criticism. It's more so just his personality. Not all quarterbacks are Russell Wilsons, right? That are around his other receivers a lot, that are on top of every last little thing, or Drew Brees, or not everybody is vocal in that aspect. But he also just got here, right? And I saw this, and I'm glad you brought this up, Danny. I saw this with Reggie Bush when he came to the Saints at first, right? You know, West Coast culture and Louisiana culture is just so different. And I also think Van Lathan, who was on with us a few weeks ago, was talking about this very thing, about how, and this is someone who's lived in both areas of the country, how different California and Louisiana actually is, right? And both of those areas in different ways are viewed as oases, right? With vibrant culture and people and all of that. It's just so different. The second thing, thank you so much. So Adam is our winner of the t-shirt. So Adam is going to get a super rare Grant Delpit rookie card. I actually kind of feel bad because I wasn't going to pick this Grant Delpit. This one actually is pretty rare. So congrats, Adam. You just got yourself a really short print Grant Delpit. There's only 18 of these cracked ice rookie cards that are out there. So congrats, Adam. That is you. So Adam, all you got to do is shoot me Power Hour LSU. Shoot me. Don't do that. Shoot me an email, powerhourlsu@gmail.com. Don't shoot me. Powerhourlsu@gmail.com, Adam. And I also have a bunch of other goodies to go your way. So congratulations, and super, super short print. Only 18 of these cracked ice rookie ticket autos. So cool. Also, I just don't think I've seen Jaden on Instagram Live with some of the teammates. I've seen him once again get acclimated to Louisiana culture. It's just so different. It really is. But, you know, being distant is something you don't necessarily want from your quarterback. But at the same time, I will say this, okay? Once again, congrats to you, Adam. God, Grant Delpit out of 18. Out of 18. I'll also say this. If we are, you know, judging based on intangibles at this point, I would probably give Walker Howard the best intangibles. And I know he's a true freshman, but a lot of the things he did last year that I've learned just behind the scenes from doing some research. I got some deep dive Walker Howard stuff that I was working before the spring. I'm going to save that for when Haley and I are in England. Walker Howard is just, to me, that leader thing that you were talking about. I just truly believe that about Walker. And you could probably say the same thing about Nuss to a certain degree, but once again, I don't know if everyone is fully on fire about how the whole bowl situation was handled. Tyler does have our trivia question, but I'll leave you with this with Miles Brennan. You know, it's kind of weird because imagine a football locker room where for 2 consecutive seasons, your best quarterback wasn't there for you. And now we're going into year 3, and I'm sure there's some players worried about that as well. So I wouldn't worry too much about the intangible stuff with Jaden, right? I'm more worried about how does he grow in the specific nature of playing the quarterback position. I also think this is very important to keep in mind. If you win, those intangible things don't matter as much, and they naturally just come, right? Fetty, what's good? It's been a while since I've seen you, Fetty. All right. Good question here from Tyler. I don't think Chris is here. Chris is actually our trivia champion. English, let me know if you're in here. Tyler's trivia question, his first of many tonight. I'm looking at you, Tyler. The 2011 class was ranked 8th nationally on 247 Sports. How many 5-stars were in that class and who were they? I actually know the answer to this. So, Chris, don't answer. I know you know the answer to this as well. All right. Slight disagreement here, Skipper. I do agree that all the quarterbacks are learning a new system. So I do agree with this to a certain degree. But Jaden's never really been in Louisiana before, right? Whereas Walker's thrown with Jack Besh his entire life, and he probably knows Malik and all those guys from camping with them. And Nuss has been there for a while, and Miles has been there for a while, so it is a little bit different for Jaden. Now, once again, that's why I say wait until the spring game before we get a definitive view of Jaden. Because then, you have a month and, excuses don't matter as much at that point. But here we go. 2011 class. How many 247 composite 5-stars were there? And can you name the 3 5-stars of the 2011 class? Chris, you cannot answer. So that is Tyler's trivia question for the night. I know this one. All right. So as far as this is concerned, Danny, what I would say about this is which players are Miles close enough to invite to his engagement party, right? Dre Jenkins was a part of the 2018 class. He's the oldest receiver in that room. All the 2017, all the wide receivers are super young. All the quarterbacks are super young. None of the offensive linemen are still around, right? It's crazy to think that one of the older offensive linemen is Cardell, and he's a 2019 kid. So I don't know who Miles would have invited from the team. I could see Deculus potentially or Ingram. So yeah. I just said 3. Karis thinks Miles starts. What's up, Karis? Jacob. That's always a great introduction. Roll Tide, what? F Bama? STTDB? That's good. So I think we got our first correct answer here. From Juice HD, Landry Collins Ant. That is true. Those are your 3 5-stars. Lyle Collins was the 3rd ranked recruit. Jarvis Landry was number 15 national. And Anthony Freak Johnson, I don't remember his exact number, but he was also a consensus 5-star. So there you go. Juice HD is our trivia winner. So there you go. Oh my God. I Juice HD, no prizes. No prizes. It's Tyler's trivia. Don't worry, we'll do another trivia question a little bit later. Normal guy, good to see you. Thank you, Tyler, as always. But yeah, Chris, you're never allowed to answer because Chris is just a trivia sharp. Yeah, Nuss looks fine up to this point. I do think one big thing about Garrett Nussmeier, and this is very important to keep in mind about Nuss as well, is this guy is still very young in his process. It seemed like last year just was an eternity, but still, we'll see. Texas Tech. I do feel, if he goes to Texas Tech, he would put up some big numbers. So, once again, we're up to 70 people, 30 minutes in. Big Al's not in here, but he always bugs me about this. Please like this video and subscribe and ring the bell. It goes a long way. We're getting a whole bunch of new viewers. It obviously helps grow the channel, and I really do appreciate everyone that is helping grow this channel into something that I never thought would actually become what is now my full-time passion. It's very cool. There's so many people that hit me up. There was a potential radio opportunity that reached out to me today. So radio opportunity, name, image, and likeness stuff with Jack Bash, and we're getting great guests on this channel, and most importantly, it's you guys tuning into the videos that we release every weekday at 6 p.m. For spring football, and there should be another one tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central. So keep that in mind. Obviously, I've got to shout out Skipper, Reed. You guys have been there for every 6 p.m. video. Chris is another one that's been there. Trying to think who else is always there for the 6 p.m. Central videos. It goes a long way. So there you go. I'm not going anywhere. I'm working on the new SEC channel. I'm really excited about that opportunity. What's up, Jared? Jared's been watching a lot of our spring football content, which obviously goes a long way. So there you go. Yeah, Daddy, we are producing a lot of videos. The good thing, though, is like they're shorter, right? It's not like a live stream where we're just hanging out for a few hours. They're quick 15-minute videos, right? I try and keep it 10 to 15 minutes. I feel it's a pretty good length. So, yeah, it's a good question here from Jared. How do you feel the O-line is coming along? So just for reference, once I get up to 70 views, look, 2 Jareds right there. I've been getting a lot of this lately, 11 to 15-minute vids. Yeah, look, we all live busy lifestyles. I know live streams are longer. I know some of you do like to watch the replay. It's kind of strange because, like, my t-shirt distributor is like one of my biggest supporters, and he likes listening to the full live stream. So whichever way you want to consume it, that's perfectly fine. I know some of you just like shorter videos and you're able to just come to some live streams. But that's one thing I like about spring is that, I'm cranking out these 15-minute videos and so yeah. But that's the thing. Some people just like to listen. Whereas with the videos, it's very visual. But yeah, Jared, you get to pick the next topic. Thank you so much, Jared, for your 10 spot here. How do I feel the O-line is coming along? So look, do I like LSU's offensive line going into next year? As of right now, I feel that is the biggest screaming concern on the offense. I know tight end is, the popular opinion, but you only need basically 2 of those, right? For when you run 12. And, I do think LSU is going to find some option at tight end. Do I feel that option is Cole Taylor? No, I don't feel that option is Cole Taylor. Do I feel that answer is Jack Mashburn? Potentially, maybe, but it's not quite there. Not quite there. You would like something better at tight end, right? I think for me, the biggest, and I mean the biggest question mark is this offensive line, right? I know a lot of you are asking about Tyler Steen. I know KMC just asked about Tyler Steen. I like Tyler Steen a lot. I do think he's got some serious leverage over LSU right now, because right now I think he knows he would play a lot for LSU immediately, right? I also think at this point, Jared, and I'm trying not to get too carried away with just these film studies, but you can kind of hear just you could just kind of hear just in my inflection on some videos who I'm liking a lot and who I'm not. And one guy who has grown on me is Will Campbell. Now, I'm going to be honest about Will Campbell. I wasn't totally on fire about his high school tape to the point where I would say he is a first-year starter. He's someone I could trust year one to be a starter. But just watching these few spring practices, he looks like he could start year one. Now, still very early. I want to see how he does in spring game and more hostile scenarios. But Will's looking a lot better than what I thought at this point. Is he fully technically refined to where, he's Andrew Whitworth or Munoz or whichever? No. But he's good. He's really good, right? There's a few things I like a lot about Will is, and this is my favorite thing I like about Will, is that he just does not give up on plays. I've seen this happen on a few reps up to this point. He just doesn't give up. Even when he starts off, we had two different, and Danny, when you watch this later, there was two different reps where if you freeze framed it in the first half second of the rep, you would see him losing out on the rep, but he just doesn't give up. He reestablishes himself and just finds a way to win reps. And I just love that. I really do. You could just see greatness in this kid. You really can. So he's good. He's really good. And you should feel really happy that LSU landed this guy. Now, is he like generational, like Lyle Collins level? I know for sure he's going to get 2 contracts in the NFL. I wouldn't say that, but he's really good. He's really freaking good, right? So we'll see, right? I just think, Jared, at this point, that's my biggest takeaway from the offensive line. Center is huge, right? It's we don't know what LSU is going to do there. I don't know what LSU is going to do at guards either. I just don't. At this point, the guys in the middle, in particular, Guillory and Mason Smith, are just tearing people up right now. It's normal. It's very normal at this point. Defense is always ahead of offense, especially with a brand new offense, especially with Mason Smith, who's going to be a Richard Seymour in the NFL. Mason Smith probably going to get a gold jacket. That's too much. He'll be a Pro Bowler in the NFL. Let's go with that. But Mason Smith is just eating souls, right? I'm very worried about the offensive line at this point. And I also think, for me, towards the end of last year, it is rare when one offensive lineman goes out there and wins you games. But towards the end of the year, Ed Ingram started winning us games. We probably don't beat Texas A&M if Ed Ingram did not play as great as he did in that game. He was phenomenal. He had a big 4th and 1 win for us that everyone else got beat except Ingram. It was enough to get the first down. A lot of people got beat, but Ingram's block got us that first down. And then later on a 3rd and short, we ran the same play out of play action, everyone bit on the run, and we hit Dre on a deep touchdown. So Ed doing what he did really helped Jake call a reasonable game for Max. And this was the same Ed Ingram who had Garrett Dellinger really struggling to his left side. So we really needed Ed to pull us through in that game. And look, Ed had some bad games last year, but towards the end of the year when we really needed him, he stepped up big for us, absolutely huge. And, we're not going to have that next year at left guard unless I think Cam Wire could be a pretty elite guard. I really do. But we'll see. Ed was NFL level, and I think he's going to have a good NFL career. Danny, thank you for the super chat as always. You know as much about offensive line play as anyone else here. You've been all over this, and you've done a good job keeping me accountable on some of my offensive line commentary. I think the only reason media has had all this access this spring is because none of these people are set yet. They aren't giving anything away. So what we are seeing isn't the set. Starters won't know till the fall. I agree, Danny. And honestly, what's funny, Danny, is Brian Kelly even admitted that. Like he basically said, look, I'm giving you guys all this media access because I really do want you to see how I run practices. I really want you to see how physical things were. Practice was very physical. You saw it today in our film study. The second thing, though, is Brian Kelly just explicitly said, you're really not seeing anything, right? You're not going to see anything tactical until the fall, where media won't have access, if that makes sense. That's why if you pay attention to the videos that we do, I do focus a lot just on one-on-one drills, right? Particularly wide receiver versus defensive back, particularly in the red zone, where a lot of one-on-one winning is necessary for you to score in the red zone. It is a lot of man coverage. It is a lot of quick throws where the rush isn't as big of a factor. So that's why on my videos, I try my best to include context, drills that I like, drills that I don't. So that's why, on that Dre Jenkins video, that was a very, yesterday, that was a very lifelike situation, right? Where Dre Jenkins was facing press coverage on a go route. Yes, there's going to be safeties in actual game, but there are going to be scenarios where you are one-on-one with the guy in just straight man coverage. So it was very interesting. So I'm really glad you mentioned that, Danny, because that was a comment that Brian Kelly said, and you see in the title of tonight's video, Brian Kelly spring practice, right? That was the key takeaway. And I know sometimes when you watch these, thank you so much, Jared, for another super chat. I really do appreciate it. The Venmos go a long way. They really do. Venmos and Cash Apps go a long way. The second thing, Danny, that I want to bring up, and it's in the title of the video, Brian Kelly spring practice, right? Is that it is a different type of spring practice. And, I found that I found this whole spring practice new era. Obviously, every coach is going to have great culture and all that stuff, but you do really feel it, right? I am lucky to have a few people that are around the program, that have been with the program for a while, that have always given me good information as far as, they're straight shooters. So give me an honest view of how things actually are going at LSU. And it is different. It's very clearly different. And it is a good jolt to have a coach who has not yet won a national championship. And I go back to that, right? Brian Kelly, this has always been a thing about BK, is that he is a historian of the game, right? You kind of have to be if you're the coach at Notre Dame, right? History is a big deal to coaches that coach at Notre Dame. And there's no other way around it. You're not viewed as a legendary coach unless you win a national championship. It's very unfair, right? Because Bill Snyder is a better coach than Gene Chizik. But, Gene Chizik won a natty. So Brian Kelly knows it. He knows he's got it. This is it. He's got to win the Natty here, or else he's never going to do it. And there's no other way around it. So this is his window, right? These next 5 years. Yeah, Danny, thank you for the super chat as always. Jure is so underrated. I fully agree with you, right? So some predictions I get right, some predictions I get wrong. I said Jure Jenkins would clearly be the number 2 wide receiver last year for LSU. And if you go look at yards and you go look at yards per catch, he ended up being the number 2 wide receiver to Kayshawn. When in actuality, Jack was actually the number 2 guy. But when I did the video, it was just focusing on the returning guys. And when I did my freshman preview, I said Jack and BTJ would be the 2 best freshman receivers. Well, it turned out 4 of them turned out to be really special, 3 of which stayed healthy towards the end of the year. So wide receiver evaluation could be tough. Dre was just clearly going to figure it out last year. I mean, he's just got such great football IQ. He's a great route runner. Not an elite athlete, not an elite separator, but he beats you with his mind. He's really good at breaking off routes. I still think about that Alabama miss from Max early in that game. It's crazy. Let's see. I want me to block Reed because he won't change his avatar. I think Danny's telling me to block Reed. You know, at least Mick shows his face when he's flirting with Danny. Reed, you could just be catfishing, and this is a catfishing free channel, right? If you're gonna shoot your shot, you better show your face, right? See, look at Adam who joined the PHL T-shirt club tonight. Okay. Also, a very interesting comment is here, and it's true. Jaden did reach out to LSU instead of the other way around. Yeah, Jenkins. Yeah, I mean, this is his money year. Skipper, get it together. By the way, and Skipper in Pass Christian, Mississippi. Yeah, I don't think anybody was trying to give Jaden Daniels the starting job. I don't. I just think Jaden was a shiny new toy, and we talked about a shiny new toy who has a ton of starters experience. And here's something else, all right? If you want to talk about what's up, Bama Cat? Good to see you. Oh, is it time for another trivia question? Tyler, you got to come with something a little heavier. Even I got that one right. Huh? Look, I'll say this as a big Jaden Daniels defense, right? Huge Jaden Daniels defense. Okay. If you truly believe these buzzwords matter, I tend to think this is a little overrated, right? Like, I think we buy too much into championship culture and all those things, right? If you succeed and you play well and you lead the team to win, that in and of itself is going to build team morale, right? Now, let's just say you are someone that believes what happens in the locker room and what happens behind the scenes really does matter. Let me share a few details about Jaden Daniels, right? So, an Arizona State writer from 247 Sports released this, said Jaden Daniels was mulling about whether or not to come back to Arizona State. he walks in on Antonio Pierce and Herm Edwards watching film of Spencer Rattler, right? Now, how do you think that would make someone like Jayden Daniels feel? How reckless is that of two coaches to watch a different quarterback? And it ended up burning Arizona State in the long run because Spencer Rattler wanted to play at Arizona State because he was from Arizona. It said Spencer Rattler ended up going to South Carolina, where his old QB coach went to. So if you think that a coaching staff is that reckless to do something that crazy, to where even the likelihood that your current quarterback would walk in on you watching film of somebody else, imagine if you walked in on your wife or husband skimming Showtime at 2 a.m. for some Skinemax. Probably wouldn't make you all that happy, right? Except this isn't Skinemax, right? This is someone trying to replace you. Don't you think that there was more of that recklessness? Well, there was, right? Sloppy recruiting violations, like Will Wade level sloppiness during the Rona restrictions. Okay. Also, locker room disarray. Also, a head coach who was hired by an athletic director who used to be his agent or someone close to him. That train ran off the tracks. And to add injury to insult, both of Arizona State's 2 major losses in their first 7 games were on the road at BYU, on the road at Utah. 2 really good teams in games that they controlled, right? Games that they jumped out to a lead. Versus Utah, they jumped out to a 21-7 lead. Versus BYU, some bad play calls, some bad holding calls, some bad false start penalties. Cost them that game. Jayden played well in both of those games, right? So when you factor in all of that,
You get my text?
well, yeah, I was doing this. So see.
You got a rack of ribs.
Rack of ribs,
Homemade barbecue sauce.
barbecue sauce,
And brisket.
and brisket
From Pawpaw.
from Pawpaw.
So, and the baby's real tired.
Well, she was at the softball field just running around. We got ribs. Let's go. And brisket. And brisket. And brisket. We all eating tonight. So whoever answers Tyler's next trivia question correctly will be more than welcome to come eat some of this delicious Pawpaw brisket. When Pawpaw cooks,
Don't worry about Pawpaw.
if anybody named Pawpaw is cooking, you better watch out. You know, he's got those tongs. Why is it that every time you hold tongs, you go? Obviously goes a long way. Hit the like button. But honestly, you know, that long diatribe just goes to show you that Jayden Daniels was dealing with a bunch of turmoil. Now, did he have some bad games last year? Yeah, he had some bad games. But first 7 games of the year, I thought he played fine. All right, let me see. Oh, okay. We already got another trivia question here from Tyler. I love it. My favorite thing is when people that normally don't comment, they comment when I talk about something that doesn't have anything to do with football. I love it. And brisket, Tony. You know you want some of this brisket. Paw. Only in the South. Only in the South. You get a college football break in the dead of the off season. Yeah, we got fresh barbecue. Okay. Actually, dang, Tyler, there's a long question here. Chris, don't answer, or else All right. Tough one. The 2009 class was the number one class in the nation. Of that class, what player was taken the highest in the NFL draft? Interesting. So let's go back to 2009 NFL draft class, okay? Or 2009 recruiting class. Which member of the 2009 recruiting class ended up being the highest player selected in the NFL draft? Which NFL draft, though? Oh, you're talking about multiple NFL drafts. Gotcha. So let's see. Let's go back to the 09 recruiting class. Now, OBJ was 2011. 2009 recruiting class was Russell Shepard. So it was the number one class, right? So that was a Russell Shepard, Craig Lawson recruiting class. Okay. Who else was in that class? ...2009 recruiting class. So that would be the Russell Shepard, Craig Lawson class. Who was the highest player selected in that class for the NFL draft? Let me think who else was. Ruben Randall was 08 class? 09 class. Who else was in that class? Try not to look at the comments. So I do remember this, that Louisiana prospects that ended up going to LSU do tend to go in the first round more than non-Louisiana prospects. Obviously, you know, guys like Joe Burrow and Jamal Adams are a little bit different. Patrick Peterson as well. I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to reverse engineer this. Who were the early picks in the NFL draft? Because it's hard to remember who was in which specific draft class. So I'm just going to stick with the highest player selected in those years, right? So Odell was 2011, so 2009. Van, what's up, man? Van, I texted you earlier and you didn't text me back about that. I'm actually kind of mad at you, Van. Van, you've been spitting out some takes lately that us higher learning listeners are wondering. I don't know, Van. All right, so this has been a big topic on Van's show. Van obviously comes here for LSU football stuff, and it's an escape from all the stuff he has to talk about all the time. But I will say this. I feel I'm a square too. I feel like I'm a Russell Wilson square as well. Now, I don't have square money, but I feel as if I'm a little bit of a square. But, you know, squares gets the eras, right? I also do believe, Van, Fred McGriff should come back and hit and hit those final 7 home runs. Anyway, Honey Badger. We'll talk about the Honey Badger here in just a second. Tyler, 09 recruiting class. Was that the Jalen? No, Jalen Mills wasn't in that class. That's way after. Jalen Mills is 2012 class. Tyler, my final answer here is going to be Barkevious Mingo. All right. I'm just trying to think of first round picks. Barkevious Mingo, was he 2010? No, he's 09. So I'm going to go Barkevious Mingo or Michael Brockers. Because I know Michael Brockers was a 3-star, but wasn't he 08? I'm going to go Barkevious Mingo. I'm going to go Mingo. I haven't seen a correct answer just yet. Question, which member of the 09 class went the highest in the NFL draft? I don't have the 09 class in front of me. So I guess Morris Claiborne was someone's guessing Morris Claiborne. This is the first time I look at the comments. I just saw a super chat. Tyler, you can reveal the answer. This one's a tough one. Was Mingo later than that? No, Mingo was 2009. Brockers, Mingo was top 10, though. Brockers, it just depends if they were a part of the class. But anyway, Van, let's talk about the Honey Badger. I'll happily do that. Look, Brocker stayed 3 years. He only played 2 years. Look, for me, Van, here's how I feel about TYRANN. I do think more people think he's lost his step, right? So, has he lost a step? I don't know. I just feel as if safeties just don't play long. I saw last year, or was it a year before that? And it might have changed when Eric Weddle signed with the Rams, that the oldest safety in the NFL was 32 years of age. 32 years of age. Okay? So, when you think about it, TYRANN Mathieu just turned 30. It just depends on what kind of money he wants, right? Does TYRANN Mathieu want big money? So the answer was Mingo and Morris Claiborne. Yeah, they were both drafted 6th overall. I guess for me, the Honey Badger, as far as where he ends up, I do think it's going to be the Saints. I really do. It makes a lot of sense. They've always kind of had veteran safeties with guys like, Malcolm Jenkins, and you do lose a Malcolm Jenkins who was a vocal leader in the locker. I just think this is going to happen. I really do. Now, is that just the Saints, LSU, and me, TYRANN Mathieu card collector in me hoping that this happens? Yeah, that is probably that. Because look, if you're a Saints fan, there's always this narrative that LSU players never end up with the Saints, which is obviously not true, because I feel like giving this one out tonight. I don't know if I want to give this one out tonight. Devery Henderson game-worn jersey. I've already given out this Grant Delpit card. Next person that gets a shirt, you get the Devery Henderson game-worn uniform. He wore this jersey in the Senior Bowl. So there you go. TYRANN Mathieu also has 2 ACL repaired knees. Still, once again, the reason why you get TYRANN Mathieu is not just because of his actual playing ability.
It was really always important for me to try my best to separate myself. In order for us to be the best of us, we need to surround ourselves around people that's going to take us there.
That's why you get them. It's because you get those kinds of leaders in the locker room. Oh, Danny, you cheated. Danny. Danny, you are the integrity of this channel. When Tyler does his trivia questions, it's just, you got to do it in your mind, right? But Danny said, no, I'm going to pull up the 09 class and get a leg up on everybody. Who? I don't know, Danny. I don't know. Whenever everyone always asks when Danny's on the chat, where's Danny? Where's Danny? Paris isn't going to come to the chat anytime soon because she's still reeling from the Duke loss. Katie Joe hadn't been here in a while. Our Tennessee, what's her name? Cassie? Yeah, we haven't seen him. Danny, you hold it down for all the lovely females. No, this is not. We're an equality channel. All rules hold the same. What's up, Mo Funky? Good to see you. When Tyler, you see, Tyler, the trivia chair of the channel, found this unacceptable. Danny can't have this. Can't have this. So I guess Tyler's just going to have to do another trivia question. Danny, God, Danny. I'm going to make you send all the cards back I've sent you. I'm going to call your husband and say, look, we need to call up Coach Pearl and get to the bottom of this. Tyler, you might have to. We might have to. But anyway, look, I hope the Tyrann Mathieu thing happens. It is kind of strange, though, that, the Chiefs replaced him with the younger brother of LSU legend Eric Reed, which is kind of strange. I'm also kind of shocked that we are still trying to figure out who our safeties are going to be next year, right? Let me ask you this. And Van, I'd love your opinion on this as well. Out of these three names, which player do you think is the most likely to be a starter next year at one of the safety spots? Okay. Type M for Matthew Langlois. Type J for Jay Ward. Type S for Sage Ryan. Which one of those three names is the most likely to be a starter at safety next year? Type N for Matthew Langlois. Type J for Jay Ward. Type S for Sage Ryan. Knowing that Jay Ward's the only one with starters experience at safety out of those three. Chris 606. Van, let's talk about Sage Ryan. Thank you, Van, for another super chat. I really appreciate you. So let's talk about Sage Ryan. So we did in our film study earlier, we spent some time on Sage Ryan. He had the best tackle, I feel, in the one-on-one drills earlier today. I like Sage Ryan a lot. I really do. Now, do I feel he is on a trajectory of potentially joining top 10 LSU defensive backs of all time? He's got that level of upside. He does, obviously, just with this pure athleticism. But, this is a big thing with Sage Ryan, right? If he played quarterback, we would be talking about him the same way that we would be talking about Miles Brennan, because this was a guy who, as a senior in high school, was very, very hurt. And then last year, very, very hurt. While at the same time, I do feel that once the season was gone, they were like, there's no real upside of playing him and forcing him to be out there. Let's take it easy and let's preserve a red shirt, which, more than likely he's going to be gone to the NFL before that. Now, Sage Ryan has really good speed. Not quite Kerry Vincent level, but it's good. He's probably faster than basically any other safety prospect that you can think of. Right? I like Sage a lot. I do. Now, does he play more nickel like he did last year, or does he play more free or strong safety? I don't know. I think he is somewhere in the middle of Jamal Adams and John Battle. I think he's in the middle of those two, right? His floor is obviously higher than John Battle, who was a really, really good safety for LSU. And obviously Jamal Adams, who is arguably the best to ever play at LSU, right? So I do like Sage as out of the best of those three to potentially start at safety next year. Matthew Langlois is very interesting. Obviously, I am biased towards Matthew Langlois because it would mean a lot for me that someone from New Roads, Louisiana is starting for LSU. My whole mom's side of the family is from New Roads. So I'm quietly cheering for Matthew Langlois, and I always quietly cheer for the Louisiana 3-star, right? The kids that are lucky to get LSU offers, right? Because there's hundreds of Louisiana 3-stars that are out there, literally in every class, and there's about 10 of them that turn out to be really good players somewhere else, right? Guys that you never even heard of, right? I remember doing some research on 3-star Louisiana offensive linemen. And I remember there was a kid from Catholic High, and I believe his name was Logan Tom. Now, Logan Tom is the name of like the Stanford women's volleyball player. His last name was Tom, though, right? Kind of weird. First name is the last name. Always kind of weird. But anyway, he went to Catholic High. He goes to Wake Forest, and he's going to be an NFL draft pick. Why? And I think about it all the time. I'm like, God, where did we miss out on the evaluation on this kid, right? Knowing what we know about LSU's lack of offensive linemen, it's crazy, right? So we'll see. There's a lot of Louisiana 3-stars that turn out to be superstars somewhere else. Heck, Morris Claiborne was the answer to Tyler's trivia question that Danny cheated on, by the way. It's very important to keep that in mind, right? So yeah, so I'm cheering for Langlois because I would like a new Rhodes kid to start, but I do think Sage is going to be starting somewhere next year. Now we're having a debate who the best safety was. Dez, look at him. This card's going to Adam. He joined the T-shirt club tonight. My rarest Grant Delpit autograph card is going to Adam. Congratulations, man. LaRon Landry was the best safety we had. We'll keep it current here with Joe. Big play Fuchsia. Here's something I actually agree with the skipper. It was good to see Jay Ward make a tackle today in our film study. Jay Ward's tackling last year was just not where it needed to be. Des said Jay Ward. Chris said Sage. Jay Ward, Sage. What's up, Poe? Strong disagreement. Delpit was very hot all 3 years. Did he have some bad games in 2019? Yeah, but that was because he was hurt and playing a new position so Jacoby could play the Delpit role, right? Grant was a lot better in 2019 than his struggles indicated, right? And Delpit was the best safety in college football his first 2 years. He was undoubtedly the best safety in the sport his sophomore year. He was so far ahead of everybody. So, yeah, part of the reason why I got to Thorpe is because the year before he should have gotten it. No, Delpit was amazing, right? We just tend to remember the 2019 struggles because he was so immaculate those first couple of years. He also led the team in sacks in 2018. He was special. I mean, look, I understand nostalgia because we like players like Jack Hunt. And make sure when you say Jack Hunt, you get that pause in there, right? Because if you run those together, I could get demonetized on YouTube. But yeah, we get nostalgia when we think about like Ryan Clark and, even though he didn't technically play safety, he played everywhere. Tommy Casanova. Even though Grant Delpit's, I will say 2019 was his worst year, but that year was still really, really, really good, right? Go back to 2019, Grant Delpit made a lot of bigger plays than we probably give him credit for. He made a touchdown-saving tackle versus Auburn. That really changed the tide of that game, right? That was one of the many plays that he made. And look, the guy was a leader, playing a new position, playing hurt. And he said it at the time. He said, hey, I wasn't as good this year, but I was playing a new position, and he was playing very hurt. Got some Stelz love in here. It's kind of crazy, right? Out of all the cards I've given out so many Craig Stelz cards, right? Let's see here. Van brings up Demetrius Hoofkin. Let's go. Let me pull up a Demetrius Hoofkin photo. Huh? I want to pull up a Demetrius Hoofkin. I was at this Sugar Bowl versus Illinois. So once again, I don't know a whole lot about Demetrius Hoofkin. I find this photo to be so fascinating. Right here. I don't have any TYRANN holiday cards. Demetrius Hoofkin. I don't know what these two players are doing here, right? And is that Illinois or is that Syracuse? Is that Illinois in the Sugar Bowl? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I couldn't tell you one thing about Demetrius Hoofkin. Austin, good to see you. Unfortunately, though, TYRANN Mathieu wasn't a safety. In college, he wasn't. That would be Brandon Taylor, and this is a very pro Brandon Taylor channel. I haven't talked with BT all that much. I talked with him a lot when I was at LSU. I love BT. Yeah, here's where it gets a little jumbled up, right? So Badger is an all-time great NFL safety, right? But he didn't play safety in college, right? He played nickel, but really he was his own thing. But I do agree, Austin, that was our best secondary ever. Well, actually, the year before was our most talented secondary ever and our second best secondary ever. 2011 secondary is our best secondary ever. Yeah, that was such a... The funny thing about that hit is Holiday got hit so hard by Pat McAfee. I have a photo of Pat McAfee somewhere. And for those that don't know, Pat McAfee, he is, like Danny mentioned, a WWE wrestler now, along with a podcast media conglomerate. I'm hoping to get that $30 million FanDuel deal one day. So FanDuel, if you're listening, I'll take 1/30th of that. The funny thing about that hit, though, Danny, is that TYRANN Holiday popped right back up. Right? There was a famous hit as well. Someone mentioned Chad Jones a minute ago. So Chad Jones got lit up one time at LSU, and it was by Dexter McCluster. And who remembers Dexter McCluster at Ole Miss? This was the craziest thing. Chad Jones got obliterated, but he popped right the heck back up. I know, Big Al. Van gets on me all the time. I shouldn't take just $1 million. I should go to FanDuel and say, I want the full $30 million McAfee deal. Yeah, if we're being honest, so I would say Jamal's probably the best safety. I would. But it's if you said Jamal, if you said Delpit, you could make a strong case for Chad Jones and LaRon Landry. If you said any one of those four, I could roll with it. I think the next tier, though, would be Reed, Stelz, and those guys. Brady's still in the league. Brady is still in the league. Yeah, Tyler, this is what really separates Jamal for me is that. And look, if we really want to get technical, like him and Chad Jones are different types of safeties, right? They're both hard hitters, but Chad covers, more ground. He's got better ball skills, more vertical, and Jamal is just a box dominator, right? So yeah, I mean they're different players. Was that Brandon Lloyd? That was Brandon Lloyd? Huh? That's crazy. TJ, what's good, man? Good to see you. TJ is really showing Miles some love, man. I like it. I love it. Every time Tony jumps back into a chat, he always has an excuse. Really, Tony, which phone call is more important than I'm kidding. Handle your business. We don't need to know who you're talking to. And shout it to you, Tony. Demetrius Hukin was the most hated cornerback of all time at LSU. Of all time? Most hated corner of all time? I remember this. I remember LSU fans hated Chris Hawkins. Don't know why. But really, the most hated corner of all time wasn't really a corner. He was kind of like this hybrid safety. Danny McCray. LSU fans hated Danny McCray. Part of it is because I believe McCray was a Texas guy. And God, people would unload on Danny McCray, only for him to have a better than expected NFL career. So shout out to you, Danny McCray. Danny McCray had real haters, like real haters. Austin, I'd probably say Chad Jones. Because I was at school during those Chad Jones years, and we're the same age. So when he was a freshman, I was a freshman, and I was there for the whole Chad Jones career, where he had the bat down versus Florida, and then the bat down versus Mississippi State. It's just amazing. There you go, Danny. Danny is making up for cheating on the trivia from earlier by saying, look, I save children's lives for a living. You can multitask. B. Chris, what's good? Welcome to the channel. Who's the breakout linebacker this year? That's a good question. I'm just gonna go with Mike Jones. I know it's not necessarily a breakout. I just think he's really good. I do. Johnny Five, what's good? But I don't know why people hated Danny McCray so much. All he was doing was trying his best, right? Claybert Simon Reed combination. I like that. I love Daryl Simon getting some run. I like that, Mark J. Show some love for Daryl. I actually knew Daryl. I had a few classes with him. Also, can someone tell me if LSU baseball won? That's what they're still playing. If they're still playing, that is just horrible. They're in the middle of the 6th. A midweek college baseball game is in the middle of the 6th. Oh, the score is 15-3. College baseball games should only be 7 innings. They should only be 7 innings long, especially midweek games. But I'm not going to get on my diatribe tonight. We got some Eunice love in here. I love it. Who is the most hated LSU player ever? Good question. Let's do this. And a lot of you believe, you know what, Van? I actually know who it is. All right. I'm actually going to pull him up right here. Huh? All right. Nick, this is partially true, and it doesn't make any sense. Why anybody would hate Jamarcus Russell or DJ Welter, even though people hated DJ Welter. All right. But the truth is, the guy that's the most hated player at LSU is what is on everybody's recent memory mind is this man. So yeah, I would probably say Eli Ricks, because it's just so recent and the wounds are so fresh. Transferring to Alabama. DJ Welter, yeah, but we figured that out with Kendall Beckwith, right? I would say DJ Welter, Paraloo is up there, and you know, I've shared a bunch of Ryan Paraloo stories. I was lucky enough to be his cousin's roommate for a year, and I'm still friends with him to this day. And Ryan, yeah, I mean he's yeah, I mean there's just no other way around it. Like I would say, as far as you relying on this person and the damage that came from one player, it would probably be Ryan Paraloo. But I don't know if hated is the right word, right? Because, you know, for different reasons, you know, I know, like, for instance, you know, a big deal was made about TYRANN Mathieu's speech to the team, and it was great. Don't get it twisted. But a lot of the stuff that happened with TYRANN were just demons, right? I think the same thing, and you do bear responsibility for what happens to you, right? Partially. Sometimes, though, it's just your surroundings. Same thing is true with Ryan Paraloo. I really do believe if Ryan Paraloo went to Texas or any of the other schools he was thinking about and got away from Louisiana, actually, I feel pretty confident saying this. He would have been special. He would have been an All-American. But I just think, you know, I just think a change of scenery was necessary, and he still made the NFL. You know, if he goes somewhere else, he's special. Let's see a few others. Actually, this is the right answer. I would probably have to say Darius Geis as well, right? Because at least with Darius Geis, you can point to, you know, something criminal, right? Something actually nefarious in nature. So, you know, Geis is up there, right? So yeah, Josh Booty, I could see that. But yeah, there's plenty of candidates, right? I was trying to think of someone else. Like, hate is such a strong word, right? Now there are a lot of Ben Simmons, that's up there. There's a lot of LSU players that have done things in the past that that bother me, right? So, for instance, let's take one of the top 5 most iconic LSU football players. Not top 5 best LSU football players, but he is up there. Is Odell Beckham, right? You want to talk about something that just drove me insane was yeah, no, of course we're not thinking, hate in the literal sense, but Odell Beckham at the end of the national championship game, I love the fact that he handed out cash to the players, but the one thing that really bothered me was that night should have been all about 2019 LSU. That's it. It's all I wanted that night to be about. Right? 2019 LSU. Next day, though, national networks. What was it all about? Why did you see Odell hand the cash to that? That was the most disappointed I think I've been of a player that I admired, Odell. Once again, I don't care if you get drunk or go crazy or whatever. It just kind of became about Odell, right? When it shouldn't have been. I love Odell. Outside of that, and that just always it just always stuck with me, right? I don't care about the violations and whatever. But the truth is, kind of what Pegasus says, then he did nothing wrong. The guys love him. And it's true, the guys love him, and I love Odell as well. I just think, I just think you have to know, being one of the biggest celebrities on the planet Earth, that if you do crazy stuff with 1,000 cameras in front of you, the story becomes about you. So, once again, everything else, I'm fine with Odell. I'm just trying to think if there's someone that I just hated, right? Jonathan Giles. I've read. I saw Jared say the receiver from Texas Tech, Jonathan Giles. That's on Orgeron. Right? Now I don't know what all transpired, but I think Orgeron just gave him the number 7 uniform, right? If Jonathan Giles came to LSU and wore number 12 the entire time and didn't turn out to be great, then we don't care, right? We view him the same way we view Quantavius Leslie or whoever else, right? That's not on Jonathan Giles. In fact, you could make the case that the number 7 uniform is what made Jonathan Giles bad, right? New kid, no Louisiana ties, hey, you need to be as good as Leonard Fournette right now for you to justify wearing that number. Strongly disagree with Nick and Reed here. Shaz, Aaron, and Kendrick, you can't come back. Why? Honestly, tell me why. That 3 wide receivers who didn't know who their offensive coordinator was going to be decided to go play for the greatest coach of all time and knowing who their offensive coordinator is going to be. Now, I'm as pro LSU as you can possibly be. And I understand Alabama's your rival. And you're going from Louisiana to Alabama, and you know what you're doing when you're going to Alabama from Louisiana. But really, if you put yourself in your shoes, do you really want to be a wide receiver going to a university where you don't know who your OC is going to be? I get it. And they probably name, image, and likeness, whatever. I don't know. Transfer portal. Heck yeah, I'm welcoming those guys back. If they can help our football team win, you better believe I'm welcoming them back. Plus, they're 17, 18 years old. Kind of hard to hate someone that has never even played a college down yet. So I'm out on the Shaz, Aaron, and Kendrick hate. I would be a little bit more salty towards Danny Lewis if we're being honest. Your tight ends coach from Cincinnati came to LSU, where you were committed, by the way. But apparently there was a bag involved. And whatever the reason was, he still went to Alabama. Strongly disagree with that. Strongly disagree with that. If you're Louisiana and go to an SEC rival, don't come back. Really? Really? What did that famous singer say? Who says you can't go home? Who said you never go? Who sings that song, babe? Babe, who sings that song? She can't hear me. She's got some other YouTuber in the background. Who says you can't go home? Who's Who says you can't go? You come on, someone help me. Who says you can't go home? As a matter of fact, that's not Miley Cyrus. Oh, is that Bon Jovi? Is that Bon Jovi? Wait, no, that's not Bon Jovi. I thought that was like Lady A. Who sings that song? How does nobody not know who sings this song? Is that Bon Jovi? I thought it was some. I think some country artist covered it. Yes, it's Bon Jovi with Jennifer Nettles. Okay, that's it. And Danny, obviously. Exactly. David, I get this comment a lot. I just can't jive with it. I just can't. Coach O should have stayed at LSU for recruiting purposes. No, there needed to be a clean break there. Especially if the head coach, then it's just strange. And I also think Coach O partially himself wanted to get away from everything as well. Because if you get away with everything, or if you get away from everything, you also you also get 17 million. So if you leave the state and go to your biggest rival, Skipper, get your autocorrect down pat. David said it was Sarcasm font. Huh? 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 It was Jennifer Nettles. I knew it wasn't just Bon Jovi. I mean, come on, Bon Jovi or Jennifer Nettles? Jennifer Nettles has accomplished way more in her career than Bon Jovi. So, Joanne, good to see you. I mean, it's just not even close. Not even close. It's all right. It's all right. Well, all right, guys and gals, we are approaching the 2-hour mark. Once again, shout out to our top super chatters of the evening. That is Van Lathan. Shout out to you. And here's the thing. We'll keep this party going for the next 5 minutes. But if we do get super chats, I'll keep going all night. Even though I am tired as a mug. I stayed up so late. This always happens with like every national championship game. I stay up until 2 a.m. looking at every stat. And I found this to be so fascinating about last night's national championship game. Last night's national championship game had 10 different players score double figures. So that goes to show you how many good college players are out there. I don't know a single one of them that's going to make it in the NBA. I don't. Like, I like Armando Bacot a lot. I also think Brady Manick, a 3-and-D guy next in the NBA. I don't know if any of Kansas's guys I like at the next level, right? But what's very interesting, there was 10 players yesterday that scored 10 points or more, but nobody scored more than 15. So it goes to show you just how good the coaching was to have such deep rosters and to have so many great players in that game. That was just an all-time great championship game. And to add on to that, it goes to show you that New Orleans is the best sports city in the country. Because while people like to crap on New Orleans, it's not a basketball city. The Pelicans need to go somewhere else. It drives me nuts. We're a great NBA city. We're not Los Angeles. We're not a Chicago basketball city, right? We're still a great NBA city. So, yeah. Suck it to all the NBA haters when it comes to New Orleans. And the basketball haters when it comes to New Orleans. New Orleans is definitely a basketball city. If you don't believe me, I went to the last Final Four game in New Orleans. It was at Anthony Davis, ironically, championship versus Thomas Robinson and that Kansas team, right? And the second thing I'll say is when the NBA All-Star game was in New Orleans, I was there that weekend. I was there to see Chappelle, and it just happened to be All-Star weekend, right? That was crazy. That whole weekend was just crazy. All the fun parties. So it just drives me nuts when people say that. It doesn't make any sense. New Orleans is a great basketball city. Louisiana is a great basketball state. Now, are we a football state? Yeah, but so what? We're still a great basketball state. Exactly. I was too, David. I actually had UNC plus 4.5. But shout out to Hubert Davis. Him and Digger Phelps were like my favorite analysts growing up, right? And I'm glad Hubert got this job. I was cheering for UNC, right? I love Armando Bacot. I don't know why I love that guy. I just love good below the rim college post players. And Armando Bacot is a monster. And honestly, we're talking about LSU players that I hate. You will never find a Louisiana sports icon like Anthony Davis that I hate more than that guy. I just do. Like, I used to love him. I love that we had a superstar for my favorite team. But obviously that's all, folks. And some of the quotes he says is just it's so BS. It's such soft BS. He took a shot at the Suns saying, oh, yeah, if I was healthy, we would have beaten them in the first round. Shut the you-know-what up. And then, he said something about the Pelicans saying it might be bulletin board material for them when they play me, but it's not for me. Please shut up. Please. I'm so sick of Anthony Davis. Out of any of the stars in the NBA, there is nobody in the league that has a more boring, flat personality than that guy, right? He is the least interesting NBA superstar I think I've ever seen. And the fact that he made the NBA All 75 team over one of his teammates, who actually is one of the best post players of all time, it's Dwight Howard, is mind boggling to me, right? He won one championship in the bubble where there's no fans to take apart his nothing personality and super thin skin, right? If you want to get me on someone that I just don't like, it's him, right? I just can't stand people like that, right? Still hasn't apologized to New Orleans. All you got to do is say, look, I didn't handle it great. None of what I did was right. For saying that I want to get a trade midway through the season, forcing, I get it. We all agree. Go play with LeBron so you go win a title. No one disagreed as far as the basketball move is concerned. Just don't be a you-know-what about it. Just don't be a piece of crap. I just can't stand it. When just I hate it. I hate it. No, he's not a bad dude. Just 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 say that you didn't handle the situation right. All right? And I'm all about going to make your money. Go do what you feel is best for you. It's just you're not available. You're never healthy. Your one championship was won in front of no fans. I just can't I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Right? Why be such an a-hole about everything? Right? Like, just say that you don't want to play there anymore. Makes perfect sense. Now, is he one of the best players in the history of the Pelicans? Yeah. But is he really one of the 75 best NBA basketball players of all time? No. He's definitely not better than Dwight Howard. Definitely not. Doesn't make any sense. Also, JJ Redick, the way he handled the New Orleans stuff. We can get into that some other time. I'm fine with JJ Redick, though. Let bygones be bygones. At least he says something, says something interesting. But anyway, guys, I know I'm not the only New Orleans sports person that doesn't like I don't live in New Orleans, but I'm not the only New Orleans sports fan that doesn't like AD. And I'm sure he's a fine person. I'm just saying, like, it's just soft. It's soft stuff. Dwight makes more sense than Lillard, but not AD. Are you kidding me? Dwight, oh, wait, you're really putting Anthony Davis over Dwight Howard? Really? Come on. No way. All right, Mick, we'll see you on Thursday, next live stream. Thank you, Scrappo. Trust me, Dwight Howard is closer to top 50 than he is top 75. David, I know you're joking again when you do the all caps thing. It's just crazy, though. Like, CJ McCollum goes from Portland to New Orleans, and, you know, he's like, man, I freaking love the Pelicans. This is great. I got a great fan base that has only welcomed every superstar that's ever been here. That is not. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Dwight's made like what, 5 All NBAs, 8 All Stars, and AD's probably made what, like, I don't know how many All NBAs or All Stars. But he's not. I mean, Dwight took that Magic team. His second best player was Jameer Nelson to the finals. That team was Jameer Nelson, Rashard Lewis, and like what, Hito Turkoglu. That was a nothing team he carried to the finals as a post player. All right, guys. We will talk to you Thursday. And Anthony Davis, you want to come on the channel? Feel free to reach out, because I'd love to have you on to talk about what actually happened at the end of the New Orleans. You're in your New Orleans tenure. Because I was about to call you an a-hole. Because you kind of were. I never actually said a-hole, but you were an a-hole. Is it brisket and ribs times, guys? I think it's brisket and rib time. Oh, Dez, are you kidding me? Okay. Easily? All right. All right. Let's take a look at the. Let's just take a look at the. Okay. Anthony Davis. All right. This is Anthony Davis right here. NBA champion, 8-time NBA All-Star, All-Star Game MVP, 4 All-NBA first team, defensive first team, 3 times blocks leader. Okay. And then Dwight Howard has basically the same resume, right? 2020 NBA champion, 8-time NBA All-Star, 5-time All-NBA first team, compared to actually I didn't no, my bad. Pull this up right here. So that was Anthony Davis' resume. Kyrie should have made the top 75. I could get down with that. So here's Dwight. Very similar resume. They have the near same resume, but Dwight was 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Dwight's played like 8 more seasons. True. I'll give you that. All right, Black OT with the super chat. You've been MIA lately. So maybe you are right. Maybe you guys are right. Maybe AD is better than Dwight. I mean, AD with the Pelicans was a force. I'll give you that. More perimeter-oriented player than Dwight, who is more of a traditional post player. I just don't think, and even though the Eastern Conference was easier, I just don't think Dwight. I just don't think Dwight is. I just don't think Anthony Davis did anything as impressive as Dwight taking a team to the finals, right? And I know AD was in the Western Conference, and that Western Conference was tougher than the East. But, I mean, Dwight, that was a bad Magic team. Right? So Scrappo agrees with me, and he's an AD fan. I'm an AD hater, right? I'm not a hater of a lot of athletes. I am a noted Anthony Davis hater, noted AD hater, right? Here's the thing. I don't mind if an athlete does a-hole things, right? At least be interesting, though. At least be interesting. I just don't find Anthony Davis to be all that interesting. I just don't, right? I just think his personality is dry. I think the NBA is better when you have good personalities, right? Exactly. He's a number 2, right? But in all actuality, how many players can actually lead a team to the finals? Not many. That's why I love me some Dwight, because that Magic team was not good. That was not a good Magic team. Rashard Lewis, Jameer Nelson, Hito Turkoglu. Black OT and D. Good to see you. So, yeah. I wish Van was still in here. Because he knows LA. Mikael Petrus? What was that? Crap, I forgot Mikael Petrus. So, yeah. So, yeah, tell everyone I called Anthony Davis an a-hole on this channel without actually doing it. I stopped myself, right? Just apologize to New Orleans. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do, right? This is most I've talked about NBA on here. I'm an NBA enthusiast. I really am. I just can't. Like, I just wish the league would make a lot of changes. I really would. But yeah. All right. Black OT, did you have any LSU football related questions? Yeah, but here's the thing. I understand Eli Apple is like, he's the one that everyone loves to hate, but at least Eli and Annie Apple just kind of lean into it, right? At least they make it fun. That's true. The Pelican sweep, baby. Huh? I'm gonna have Laker fans all in my comment section. Bring it, bring it, bring it, Laker haters. I hate calling people names. So I take it all back. AD's not an a-hole. Even though I didn't actually call him that. He's not. He hasn't done anything nefarious. He hasn't done anything criminal. Still, things could have been handled better. Did he, though? I mean, Cooper Kupp burned him. And Cooper Kupp had the best season of any NFL wide receiver last year ever. But anyway. Hope you enjoyed this video today. And, yeah. We'll see you tomorrow with another practice footage breakdown. Oh, yeah, that was the 2000 finals. That Kings team, probably the best team to never make the finals. I love the NBA so much. I really do. It is Power Hour LSU Buck. And tonight, well, if you watch the live stream, you already know what we're about to do. You already know what we're about to eat. Let's go. Let's go.